There have been some secret Santas giving Santa help across the country. There have been strangers helping others who needed a little help with their Christmas shopping. At stores, the strangers have been paying out layaways for those who have fallen on hard times. The secret Santa usually requests bills with items like toys and electronics. The benefactors generally ask to help those families with items in layaway for young children. The recipients say they're grateful that someone would do this for them. Now here's a feel-good Indiana Christmas story. In September of 1960, a mother woke up one morning with 6 hungry babies and just 75 cents in her pocket. Their father was gone. The boys ranged from 3 months to 7 years. Their sister was 2. Their dad had never been much more than a presence they feared. Whenever they heard his tires crunch on the gravel driveway, they would scramble to hide under their beds. He did manage to leave $15 a week to buy groceries. Now that he had decided to leave, there would be no more beatings, but no food either. If there was a welfare system in effect in southern Indiana at that time, she certainly knew nothing about it. She loaded them into the rusty old 51 Chevy and drove off to find a job. The 7 of them went to every factory, store, and restaurant in their small town. No luck. The kids stayed, crammed into the car, and tried to be quiet while their mother tried to convince whoever would listen that she was willing to learn or do anything. She had to have a job. Still, no luck. The last place they went to, just a few miles out of town, was an old root beer barrel drive-in that had been converted to a truck stop. It was called the Big Wheel. An old lady named Granny owned the place, and she peeked out of the window from time to time at all those kids. She needed someone on the graveyard shift, 11 at night until 7 in the morning. She paid 65 cents an hour and said the mother could start that night. She raced home and called the teenager down the street that babysat for people. She bargained with her to come and sleep on their sofa for $1 a night. She could arrive in her pajamas and the kids would already be asleep. This seemed like a good arrangement to her, so they made a deal. That night, when the little ones and the mother knelt to say their prayers, they all thanked God for finding Mommy a job. And so she started at the Big Wheel. When she got home in the mornings, she woke the babysitter up and sent her home with $1 of her tip money, fully half of what she averaged every night. As the weeks went by, heating bills added another strain to her meager wage. The tires on the old Chevy had the consistency of penny balloons and began to leak. She had to fill them with air on the way to work and again every morning before she could go home. One bleak fall morning, she dragged myself to the car to go home and found 4 tires in the back seat. New tires. There was no note, no nothing, just those beautiful brand new tires. Had angels taken up residence in Indiana? She wondered. She made a deal with the owner of the local service station. In exchange for his mounting the new tires, she would clean up his office. She recalls that it took her a lot longer to scrub his floor than it did for him to do the tires. She was now working 6 nights instead of 5, and it still wasn't enough. Christmas was coming, and she knew there would be no money for the toys for the kids. She found a can of red paint and started repairing and painting some old toys. Then she hid them in the basement so there would be something for Santa to deliver on Christmas morning. Clothes were a worry too. She was sewing patches on top of patches on the boys' pants, and soon they would be too far gone to repair. On Christmas Eve, the usual customers were drinking coffee in the big wheel. These were the truckers, Les, Frank, and Jim, and a state trooper named Joe. A few musicians were hanging around after a gig at the Legion and were dropping nickels in the pinball machine. The regulars all just sat around and talked through the wee hours of the morning and then left to go home before the sun came up. When it was time for her to go home at 7 o'clock on Christmas morning, she hurried to the car. She was hoping the kids wouldn't wake up before she managed to get home and get the presents from the basement and place them under the tree. They had cut down a small cedar tree by the side of the road down by the dump. It was still dark and she couldn't see much, but there appeared to be some dark shadows in the car, or was that just a trick of the night? Something certainly looked different, but it was hard to tell what. When she reached the car and peered warily into one of the side windows, her jaw dropped in amazement. Her old battered Chevy was filled full to the top with boxes of all shapes and sizes. She quickly opened the driver's side door, scrambled inside, and kneeled in the front facing the back seat. Reaching back, she pulled off the lid of the top box. Inside was a whole case of little blue jeans, sizes 2 to 10. She looked inside another box. It was full of shirts to go with the jeans. Then she peeked inside some of the other boxes. There were candy and nuts and bananas and bags of groceries. There was an enormous ham for baking and canned vegetables and potatoes. There was pudding and jello and cookies, pie filling and flour. There was a whole bag of laundry supplies and cleaning items, and there were 5 toy trucks and 1 beautiful doll. As she drove back through empty streets as the sun slowly rose on the most amazing Christmas day of her life, she was sobbing with gratitude, and she will never forget the joy on the faces of her little ones that precious morning. Yes, there were angels in Indiana that long ago December, and they all hung out at the big wheel truck stop. That's the latest news on this Friday. Stay tuned for the press release from the Sheriff's Department coming up with Jim Freeman, and have a Merry Christmas.
Okay, thanks, Bill. Let's now get to your press release from the Campbell County Sheriff's Department. Here's who's been taken to the county jail in the last 24 hours. We start with 29-year-old Ashley Nicole Branham of 113 Linden Lane, La Follette. She's charged with violation of a drug-free school zone and 2 counts of for resale. Jerry Clark, age 20, of 1021 South Highway 25W in La Follette, was picked up on possession of drug paraphernalia and possession of a Schedule II substance. 31-year-old Michael Justine Eastep of 445 Spruce Lane in Caryville is charged with several counts, including traffic control device, impeding the flow of traffic, violation of the registration law, violation of the Tennessee financial law, for resale, possession of drug paraphernalia, violation of the light law, and violation of a drug-free school zone. Also on today's list, Paul Bradley Goins, age 34, of 1314 Bethlehem Road, La Follette, for capious bench warrant. Pamela J. Honiger, age 39, of 307 Vincent Estates Road in Jacksboro, for reckless endangerment and theft of property under $500. We have a list of 12 names, by the way, on today's press release. Scotty Lee Kennedy, age 36, of 19 Hickman Lane, Jacksboro, for a capious bench warrant. 25-year-old Justin Stephen Lamar of 183 Dogwood Lane, La Follette, that's Dogwood Drive, La Follette, capious bench warrant and violation of probation. 37-year-old Nanette M. Lloyd 237 Fleetwood Lane, Clinton, for a capious bench warrant. Also on today's list, Martin L. Miller, age 37, 312 Brown Drive, La Follette, for a capious. 32-year-old Amanda Pertusit, 1908 Shady Cove Road, Caravel, a capious bench warrant. 55-year-old Leroy Sexton of 204 Jacksboro Plaza, Jacksboro, picked up for public intoxication. And our last name on the list this evening is that of 38-year-old Mary M. Wesseling. She's of 2021 South Highway 25W in La Follette, for driving under the influence. That's a DUI. Also speeding, seatbelt law, violation of the Tennessee financial law, possession of a Schedule II controlled substance, possession of drug paraphernalia, and also a driver's license law address. And that wraps it up for our press release this evening from the Campbell County Sheriff's Department. We appreciate you joining us on WLAF TV 12 News. We have weather, obituaries, birthdays, anniversaries, sports still to come here this evening. We invite you to stay connected right here to WLAF TV 12. In the meantime, have a Merry, Merry Christmas. See you back here next Monday.
Happy birthday.
This is your birthday song.
Celebration all night long.
May all you
Merry Christmas Eve, everybody. Welcome into your Friday edition of Birthdays and Anniversaries, which is brought to you by Eastside Pizza and Deli and WLAF. Let's see who's celebrating a birthday and anniversary today. Ann Brown celebrated 50 years old today. Keith Ford and Mary Ann Bird celebrated a birthday. Mary turned 9 years old today. Lori Sweat, 34 years old. And Kathy Mae Norman, who turned the sweet 60th today. So congratulations to all of you. Happy birthday. And a very special birthday going out to my big sister, Megan Colley. She turned 24 today. So happy birthday there from your little brother. Our winner from today's drawing is Miss Destiny Kimberlin. She turned 11 back on Sunday, and she's our winner. Destiny, if you'll come in here to the station, we'll get you those 2 free dinners, buffet dinners, from Eastside Pizza and Deli. Anniversary-wise, we got a couple here. Roger and Barbara Perry, 39 years today, and Andrew and Barbara Baird, 51 years they are celebrating today. Our winner from the Anniversary Club is belated also back from Sunday. Willie and Melissa Smitty, 42 years back on Sunday. So congratulations to you. You get those 2 free dinners also from Eastside Pizza and Deli. And you guys be sure to get your information turned in here for next week's drawing. That's it for birthdays and anniversaries. You all have a fantastic Christmas. We'll see you back here next week.